Now, I want to relay a very thoughtful email that Self-Transformative just sent me a few hours ago. And it connects much of the introspective content I've released recently, namely how thinking back to your childhood, how you developed a sense of self, how you developed an aversion or a gravitation towards solitude, depending on, in my case, being the only child, and it resonated with a few of you guys. And then Self-Transformative did a nice little thing where he connected the two concepts together. The only child videos I released with my previous video about being disappointed with the men around me, and generally how we all tend to be disappointed with the women around us. And he pointed out an interesting thing, and that's what I love about the mature and intelligent discussions between us. Not the shit flinging, it's where I relay an idea, we bounce ideas between ourselves in the comment section, with emails, with our own videos in response and expanding those ideas. And what he connected was that being the only child for such a long time, in my case, and having that love, closeness and affection taken away from me, and basically, it was like being thrown into solitary confinement just before puberty, and having to fend for myself emotionally, but still longing for that closeness and affection. He suggested, and I think it's quite plausible, and I commend him for the connection, because I'm conversant in a lot of red pill ideas with regard to women, you often kind of get blindsided by the autopilot of pedestalizing your friends in the same way you pedestalize women. That was a great insight he connected. And that's what I love about sharing these ideas. Many of us can connect concepts that I myself, when I've got my head too close to what I'm concentrating on, I'm not really looking on the periphery. Whereas someone who's observing my video, or I'm observing someone else's, I start forming my own connections on the periphery of what they've said. So thanks for that. So yeah, I'm pedestalizing the Brotherhood and friends, probably with very low standards. And I'm expecting too much of women in the past and friends in the manosphere recently because of what was taken away from me, and I'm forever chasing that closeness. Being an only child and relying on my own devices to figure the world out, to figure out my rights and wrongs, and relying only on myself to figure out what's right and wrong, you tend to have a high achieving stance because it's almost a survival mechanism. So you expect a lot from yourself because you're alone. You can't lean on siblings, you can't lean on mothers and fathers. You've kind of fend for yourself intellectually too. And then you go into life like now, and I expect a lot from women. That's an easy one, but then also I kind of lose sight that I'm unfairly expecting too much from men and people around me in general, and it's easy to get a little bit pissed off, while at the same time trying to be compassionate. There's that friction there, which does me no favours and does some of you guys no favours. And yeah, so because of that solitary way of growing up, and the lack of closeness is craved in intellectual curiosity and certainty, and that reflex has been baked into me. And so the betrayal of just guys in general, women, the frontal lobe knows what's what and knows the nature of things, but then when you're on autopilot, the larger animal side of you reflexively kind of gets hurt. And he relayed a really nice point that resonated with me, and it may resonate with you guys. That's why I wanted to share it quickly with this video, is that if you're someone like me who craves closeness, and as a result you crave intellectual certainty, and you want to know things, and you want to distill things down to almost a perfection that kicks you in the ass and disappoints you so often with people around you, it's not because I have a superiority about me, it's because I'm craving that closeness and certainty and safety. And so it sort of spills over into information and people's ethics and standards. It's a little bit too high because of my need for this closeness. He pointed out that a good way of looking at it is that if I let go of the people that aren't really close to me, I'll be a lot happier. And that resonated not so much even just physically in terms of letting go of people, but letting go of the idea of people needing to be close. needing to, being disappointed and at the lack of closeness to people who objectively really aren't close in my life and figuratively aren't close to my standards, but I expect it of others because of the isolation that was baked into me. And so I'm pedestalizing everybody. I used to pedestalize women, but that reflex is still there amongst men now that I'm finding a lot of insight and camaraderie with. But that reflex is always there. So I need to kind of loosen my grip with requiring that closeness and certainty and brotherhood from some of you guys. Not be so hard on you. And then that spills over into not being so hard on myself. Anyway, keep the insightful comments coming, guys. This is the reason why I started producing videos, to converse with you kinds of guys. So keep those comments coming, keep it civil, and let's expand on the epistemology of going your own way and thinking your own way. Gentlemen, I'll talk to you later. Oh, fuck off.